Hey everybody, welcome back to Port City Living, Escrows and Egos. I am your host, Bill Corbett. I am a real estate agent and I serve the greater Wilmington, North Carolina area. My co-host is Brad Brown. He is a mortgage lender with Atlantic Bay Mortgage, and together we have about 30 some years worth of experience in the real estate and mortgage world. And for those of you who follow us and listen to our podcast, you know that season 1 was called Port City Living, which is my brand. And we basically talked about life in Wilmington and some of the great things that happens here in this part of North Carolina. This season, we took a bit of a detour and decided to talk about what it's like in the real estate and mortgage world and our experiences that we've had over the years. And the things that buyers and sellers get wrong, the things they get right, the things that real estate agents get wrong and right. It's been a fun ride, I think, this season. It was a bit of a departure from what we did in season 1, but I felt like it was something that needed to be said. This business is complicated. It's not easy. There's not a straight line from A to B. It's all over the place. And with the experience that Brad and I have had over the years, I felt like it was necessary to kind of fill some people in, especially for those of you who have never bought and sold before. Maybe help you and guide you through and maybe help you not to make mistakes that we've seen other people make when they're buying and selling homes. And so this has been a fun ride for us. It really, really has. We talk a lot about, getting mortgages and buying homes and selling homes and the misconceptions that people have about it and our role in it and what we are here to do. And so I think it's been pretty helpful. So this episode, episode 10, is going to be our last one for this season. And I'm basically just going to do a wrap up of everything we sort of talked about through the season. But if you get a chance, go back and listen to it. And definitely go back and listen to season 1. I think you'll like it a lot. So the first thing I want to talk about is the hidden emotional cycle that we have in the real estate mortgage business. And, buyers tend to panic when they're buying a house. They, especially first time home buyers, they're not sure if they're making the right decision. They second guess their choices. They're probably thinking there's always something better out there. Do I really make a move on this particular home? And sort of like relationships. I've heard people say we get into relationships and then we kind of second guess because there may be somebody that's richer and somebody that's more attractive and somebody who has a better car. I mean, it's like it's the human instinct to always want something better and more. But buyers get attached to things and they emotionally attach pretty quickly to things, and sellers get offended when they get an offer that's too low, and they get greedy. People want more. People think that their property is worth more than anybody else's because it's theirs. And folks, that's simply not true, and it's very unrealistic. You can't lie. The market doesn't lie. And when all these emotions are being swirled around and they're all around us agents and mortgage lenders, we absorb all of that sometimes negative energy. We take it in, and I think a good agent will take it in and process it and try to figure out how to handle it and project it back out in a positive way. I think if you don't get a good agent that knows how to do that, then that's part of the problem. And then when it comes to our ego versus our reality, it's like when you're selling a home, you can't overprice. Overpricing doesn't work. It does not work. And I think a lot of people, this is 2025. I think a lot of people still have that mentality that we're living in 2021, 2022, when, especially here in Wilmington, when we saw prices just escalate like crazy because people were moving here from different parts of the country, and it was driving our house prices up. And of course, interest rates were low. Y'all, we're not in that market anymore. That's gone. That's not a thing anymore. And I still consistently see people pricing their houses really high, way higher than they should, and things are sitting there. And I watch, and we see the house price fall, and it falls, and it falls, and it falls, and it falls. And I don't care what anybody says. If a house is on the market too long, or there's been too many price reductions, it gets a bad rap, and people think something's wrong with it. And unfortunately, that's the atmosphere and the landscape that we live in. Buyers question, why has it been sitting there so long? There must be something wrong with it. I'm not even going to look at it. There's got to be something wrong with it. And there's no amount of convincing buyers to look at anything if it's been there too long. I just, other things too that just drive me nuts is when buyers want to nitpick sellers about their inspection report. Guys, when you're selling a home, according to the North Carolina contract offer to purchase, when you purchase a home, you're purchasing it as is, okay? This whole concept of sellers fixing things for buyers, my personal opinion, gotten way out of control. Way out of control. Now, here is my thought on this, and I'm pretty sure we probably talked about this in one of the other episodes, but I'm going to talk about this again because I think this is very important. When I have a buyer and we order the inspection, and I always recommend that you get an inspection on a house. It's not required, of course. You don't have to get one, but it's good to know what things you're going to be up against when you move in, so you'll know how to prepare. When we get that report back, I comb through it, the buyer combs through it, we comb through it together, and we talk about it, okay? My job is to help you understand the big ticket things that are going to cost you, that are things that are really wrong with the property, and wrong in a sense of, okay, it's priced too high because of this problem. And this is where I think it gets a little crazy, because my job is to help you see that, if there's an HVAC system that's not working, or it's on the blink of some sort, or you've got really faulty electrical system, or you've got really bad plumbing issues, or there's a major sag in the floor where a floor joist maybe is busted, or there's not a support where it should be, or the roof is leaking profuse. Those big things, those are the big things that you need to think about, and maybe go back to the seller and say, okay, this is a big issue. Okay. You've got the house priced up here, but you've got all these problems that are really, really going to affect the selling of this home should we walk away. So we need to bring the price down to here, or you need to fix these problems, whatever. Now, when you go through an inspection report and there is and we've already said this, I'm going to say it again, if there is an electrical outlet that's not tight, or there's a GFC, I can never say that word right, but whatever those outlets are that goes in the kitchen, they're not in the kitchen, or there's a strike plate missing, or there's a bedroom door that doesn't close and latch properly, or there's a scuff mark on the outside of the house, or there's a crack in the concrete. Y'all got to stop with this. This is insane, okay? When you're buying a home, you're buying it as is, and you're not buying something brand new. And even if you are buying a brand new home, a newly built home, there's still going to be problems. You're not ever going to buy perfection. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. And you buyers out there, and you agents, you've got to reel these buyers in. This is, again, my opinion. You've got to reel these buyers in on this kind of stuff. Now, is it acceptable to ask for those big ticket things to, price be adjusted, or a credit or something? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But, recently I have a house listed, and I got, the agent called me and said they want every single thing on the inspection report fixed. Every single thing. Y'all, that's bullshit. that is bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. Again, you're not buying a brand new home. Homes, properties, structures are going to have issues. That's just the way life is. Okay, so if you have questions about this or comments, I would love to know what yours are, because I feel very strongly about this. I feel like we have gotten way out of control when it comes to inspection reports and asking for things to be fixed. That's just my opinion. Getting back to the escrow and ego versus reality thing is that, it's my house, and so it's worth more, and I've had my memories there. Well, that may be, but you've had your memories there. That's the truth. But you've got to take your ego and yourself and your memories out of that house now. You've got to look at it as just a piece of property. What is its value? Just because you had many Christmases there, or you had birthdays there, or you had your first child there, does not make it any more special than anybody else's house. Unfortunately, that's just the way life is. That is just the way life is. So you've got to think about that when you're thinking about selling your home. And buyers, when you're making offers, make your offer. I always tell buyers, make an offer. I always tell my sellers, accept any offer. Not accept any offer, but take in every offer and welcome it. Don't snub an offer just because it's not what you think it should be. I don't think anybody should ever reject an offer. That's my opinion as well. I've always said an offer starts a conversation. Of course, people are going to try to get a good deal, so they're going to make a lowball offer. Of course. Are some of them ridiculous? Absolutely. But there's also this little thing called a counter. As a matter of fact, I just heard something the other day, which I thought was really genius, and I never thought of it this way. When somebody makes an offer, a first offer on a home, that's considered a counteroffer. Because the offer that you put out there, it is, when you list a home, that is the offer. And that's really kind of interesting because I always used to see agents say, this home is offered at, $545,000. And I always thought, why are they saying it like that? That's so weird to me. But then somebody made the comment that the first offer you get on a house is a counteroffer, or any offer you get on a house is a counteroffer because you're putting a price out there. They're offering you a different price. That's a counter. I'm like, oh, that is genius. I never thought of it that way. So sellers, always consider an offer. Don't discount it just because it's not what you think it should be. An offer starts the conversation. So if you don't like it, then counter back with what you think it should be. If you counter back at the same price you listed it at, then that lets them know you're not playing, you're not going to move, this is what you want, and that's it. That's fine too. Or maybe you play ball and you ping pong back and forth. I've had many situations where it's gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until you get it down to the penny. Sometimes that gets a little monotonous and ridiculous, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, right? So that's my thought on that, is just consider every offer. If you don't like it, counter back. When it comes to the biggest red flags in lenders and agents, again, my opinion, it's not about the lack of experience. It's certainly not about the lack of production. There's a lot of agents out there that produce tons and tons of closings, and they have the personality of the bottom of my shoe. Worked with one just recently. Horrible. Big time agent. Horrible personality. And my opinion is, if you don't have some kind of personality and know how to talk to people and know how to relax and have a little bit of fun at this, then I don't know. I like for this to be fun. I like to, have some camaraderie with my buyers and sellers. I like to have some, to be real. That's what it's about. If you're very transactional, I can feel it, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all. There's nothing fun about it. So be careful when you're picking your agent. Again, it's not necessarily about experience. There's a lot of agents out there that have been doing real estate for years and years and years and years and years and years, and they're horrible at it. And then you've got some that just started and they're great, because it's about communication. It's about the quality of communication. It's about humility. It's about being able to help guide people, give people options. Real estate is not about telling buyers and sellers what to do. I don't ever tell a buyer and seller what to do. I give them options. I take them down the road of these options and how things could potentially play out. But I am never going to ever tell you what you're supposed to do, because that's not my job to tell you what to do. It's my job to guide you through the process. And that's what a good agent is, a good communicator, an effective communicator. It's a person who makes people feel safe. So the next time you're thinking about buying or selling and you're looking at all the advertisements that all these agents put out there, my included, I'm included in that. It's not always about who sells the most houses. It's about who you feel comfortable with and who you trust and who is able to literally hold your hand if that's what you need, and make you feel comfortable and give you the options that you need in order to make the best decision. Do all agents know everything? No. 100% no. I don't care who they are. If they say they know everything about real estate, then they're lying to you, because that is not true. I tell everybody that I practice real estate. Just like people practice law, we practice real estate because it changes so much. It's constantly changing. We see it every day. And speaking of that, how the industry changed, there's all these new lawsuits that keep coming up. There's, recently in the past year or so, we've had the compensation for real estate agents have shifted and changed in the way we get paid, which affects everybody and continues to change. There's more paperwork than there's ever been. There's constantly something that we've got to get filled out. Every I has to be dotted and every T has to be crossed, which is fine. That's totally the way to do it. Tech is creeping in. We're using AI now for most of our for most of the things that we do when it comes to pricing homes and just getting advice on how to talk to people in scenarios and situations. It's a good thing. It really is a good thing. But at the end, and we've also got Zillow will sell your house for you, and all these things are done online, and you don't have to have a person anymore. But at the end of the day, humans hire humans. People like me who actually care about your transaction. I'm not doing it just to get a paycheck. Now, I got to eat and I need to make money to pay my bills. But I'm not here in this career to just make money. It's not about that compensation check. For some people it is. And I can always tell when I'm working with an agent when they're just in it for the money. They don't care about the little details. The details mean more than anything. Those details are the things that it's what's making this journey of buying and selling real estate, getting a mortgage. Those are the details in it are what's so important. Those little tiny nuances, the little things that still let you know that, hey, I'm here and I'm human and I'm still alive and I'm here to help you. Now, what a good agent really does for you is protect your emotions. They protect your time and your money, and they protect the deal. They're here to help you get the best that they can for you. And a good agent is also out there to tell you the truth, even if it hurts. And sometimes the truth is hard, especially at the beginning, especially, I think, when it comes to listing agents telling the truth about the property that they're trying to list or the seller's trying to list. Because I think a lot of us fear that if we do tell the truth, we're not going to get the listing. But I think it's important to tell the truth and say, I think you're way overpricing. And sometimes there's nothing you can say or do that's going to change that seller's mind. They want what they want. They want to do what they want to do. And a good agent is going to assess that situation, and they're going to say, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll list it, but then what I need you to do is listen to me, and after a couple of weeks with no offers, we're going to need to reduce it down. And if you can agree on that, that's great. Or, you know what, Mr. Seller, or Miss Seller, I can't in good faith take this listing and price it like this because I know in my heart that it's going to sit there forever and it's never going to sell because of blah, 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 blah. Market condition of the house, location, whatever it is. And so therefore I'm going to, sadly walk away, but I wish you the best of luck and I hope you sell it soon. So a good agent is going to assess the situation and figure out how to maneuver through it. Some agents don't want to take listings because they know they're going to be priced wrong and they're going to sit there forever and it makes their numbers look bad. I don't really care about that as much, but it does, it does affect me in a way because I do want to sell things for people quickly. Of course I do. We all do. We all want to sell things quickly. But we just have to take each individual situation and figure out how to maneuver through it and do it the correct way. So that is basically, in a nutshell, what we talked about this season is picking the right agent, picking the right lender, And everything I just said was basically real estate driven, but everything I said was basically applies to your lender. Finding the right lender that is educated, and they don't have to be the most experienced, but they know all the different programs, and they know how to help counsel you. And I think that's important when it comes to a good lender. And I think that's what Brad really does. He'll talk to anybody. And if he feels like they're not eligible at this time for a mortgage because of whatever situation, it could be credit score, it could be many things. He's really good at helping you figure out how to get to that place. And a lot of lenders don't do that. They don't want to waste their time they just want to get to the next deal that they know they can close. But Brad really takes his time. Yes, Brad, I'm talking about you, and you do a good job. There's a lot of lenders that do great jobs. Don't get me wrong. There's many, many wonderful lenders in the Wilmington area and North Carolina that do incredible work. I'm just speaking of Brad because he's my co-host. But he does a really good job of really counseling you and helping you by telling you what you need to do to get you prepared in order to purchase, whether it's 6 months out, a year out, or whatever the situation is. And some lenders don't do that. And that's also a good, and we work hand in hand, so that, when Brad comes back to me and Brad never tells me financial details about any client. I don't ever know, most of the time, I never know what a buyer makes or what their debt is. I would never know that information. All I need to know is, are they qualified? How much are they qualified for? And give me the approval letter. He takes care of all of the details, and he has all the numbers in his head. That's something that real estate agents won't ever know unless you tell us. But we work hand in hand, and he'll tell me that they're not ready yet. They've got to work on this, 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 and this. And once they do, then we'll come back and we'll be ready to maybe purchase. Excuse me. So, picking a good lender, very important. Somebody that's knowledgeable, somebody who cares, somebody that takes the time, just like a good real estate agent, somebody who takes the time with you. I mean, I have worked with buyers for, a year or so before we actually purchase. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Oh, and speaking of that, let's remember people. People always say, oh, real estate agents, they just sit back and make so much money, and all they do is show a few houses and they make all this money. It's just they got the life. Okay. Wrong. Couldn't be more wrong. If there's people out there saying that, couldn't be more wrong. This job is complicated. It's emotionally draining. We work really hard. We work with, especially with buyers, we work with them, like I just said, sometimes for months and months and years, showing houses. So, and guess what? All these houses that we show and all this time we drive around and let people in houses, we don't get paid for that. We don't get paid for that. We don't get paid until they actually purchase a home, the deal is closed, and the check is in the bank. Then we get paid. We don't get paid driving around, showing houses, being online, making reels, doing TikTok stuff. We don't get paid for that stuff. Or I don't. And if I could, then I need to figure out how to do it. So remember that. Remember that when you're out there looking for a home, be mindful of your real estate agent's time. Don't waste it. I remember when I first started in real estate, I would put anybody in my car or let them follow me. I would show anything in the world. Didn't ask them if they were approved. Didn't think about anything like that. I was just so excited to have my real estate license. And I was so excited that somebody actually wanted me to show them a home. I would just show like crazy. Most of the time, people couldn't afford what they were looking at, or they couldn't even get approved. You do crazy stuff whenever you first start in the business because you're so excited to be in the business. You just want to do anything related to it. You just want to do it. So all you young whippersnappers out there that are getting to this business, just be mindful that people will waste your time if they can. If you let them, they will do it. Make sure that when you get a buyer, the first thing you ask them, are you approved? Have you talked to a lender? If so, let me see that approval letter. And if they say, nope, haven't done it yet, or they'll say, I've had this happen before. They'll say, no, I haven't talked to a lender, but I'm good. I know I'm good. I've got a really good credit score and I've got really good money in the bank, so I'm good. So let's just go look. Nope. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care if you've got millions of dollars in the bank. I don't care. I need to see an approval letter because you're not going to waste my time. My time is precious. My time really, I could be spending my time with my dog Millie on the patio drinking a glass of rosé. And I'm not going to show you a house if you're not approved and you don't have an approval letter. Absolutely not. I did it all. Did all of that. Not going to do it. Okay, I'm going to get off that because you get the point, right? So at the end of the day, real estate isn't about houses. It's about expectations, ego, trust, and how well we navigate through them. Your home has a story, but your move has a heartbeat. Choose people who understand both. Okay, that's all I have for you. And guess what? This is the last episode of Port City Living, Escrows and Egos. Now, next year, 2026, Brad and I are going to shift back to Wilmington lifestyle. The new season will be Port City Living, Rants, and Raves. We're going to talk about all the good stuff Wilmington has to offer, and we're going to talk about all the bad stuff. Because guess what, people? There's not one place on this earth that doesn't have its problems, and Wilmington certainly does. And you need to know about it. We're going to talk about restaurants. We're going to talk about new businesses. We're going to talk about the crazy-ass traffic situation we have around here. We're going to talk about the home designs that pop up everywhere. We're going to talk about beach life. We're going to talk about everything. Very similar to season 1, but we're going to rave and rant. Okay? So look for that coming in 2026. I want to thank everybody who has listened to our little podcast. I know it's not the biggest, grandest thing in the world, and maybe, this season probably did not appeal to everyone, but if it did, and you know somebody that's buying and selling, please forward it over to them and let them hear it, because I think what we have to say is very good. I know I would want to hear some of this stuff if I were thinking about buying and selling, even if I've done it before or multiple times. I think it's always good to hear. So we appreciate you. We really do. Please consider subscribing and look out for us next year when we bounce back to our original format. And again, we really appreciate you being around. So I'm Bill Corbett with Port City Living, and unfortunately Brad is not here for our last episode, but he says goodbye too. And we will see you in 2026. Have a wonderful, magical holiday season this year. Hold tight to the people that you love. Take care of each other. We need holding more than ever right now. Stay positive and focus on the good times ahead. Okay? Bye, everybody.